Hello, and welcome to our book study of Get Over Your Damn Self by Romy Neustadt. Um, Today, we're going to be talking about the introduction and chapter 1. So, in the introduction, there's even a few good nuggets in the introduction. Sometimes introduction is just filler, but I thought there was some good stuff in this one. So I had a lot of things that I had circled. Can you see that?
Yep.
That pretty much describes a lot of what I want out of my business and the kind of people I'm looking for to join me in the business. Working mom who's trying to build an exit strategy, someone who has an identity outside of mom and wife, but looking to make their own money, super savvy woman looking for another stream of income, etc. So that hit home with me because it, I guess, kind of helped to put into words what I need to be looking for. It's like I had this fuzzy idea of it, but that helped put it into words. And going on down from there, let's see, she says on the second paragraph, in the second paragraph on that page, I wrote this book to help you create the kind of business your team will want to emulate and the duplication that you need to create to get where you want to go, not just in this profession, but in life. And that made me want to ask the question, where do we all want to go? Where are we hoping this is going to take us by working this business? Thoughts on that?
Oh, you're asking us?
Yes, I'm asking you.
My why has changed repeatedly over the last 9 years, but I was thinking about it on my walk today of like, what is it today? Because in all honesty, the ebbs and flows of my business usually match my husband's income. Like when he's making a lot of money, I feel like I ebb in my business because we don't need the money as much to do extra things.
Mhm.
When he's not making as much, I tend to dig in because I don't want to sacrifice getting my nails done, getting my hairs done, going on vacation, visiting my kids whenever you want. And I really wanted to think about it today because as he's accepting a new job in 2 weeks, his income will go up drastically again. And I want to make sure that I don't ebb with that. And what came to mind is there are things that he and I, and as a family, we have wanted to do that just have not made it in the budget. And that is like taking Andrew on a 3 week tour of Europe, doing all the World War II stuff. I am
Mhm.
lucky enough that I'm not trying to like work hard to pay bills, but I want to take this child to Europe to travel. I want to, as I have kids in now 4 different states, be able to go whenever I want to hop
Mhm.
on a plane or throw Andrew in the car and go visit. And something that came to mind today is again with my husband now taking a job many hours away. I would love to be able to keep this house and kind of keep Andrew in a safe space, but also have something there so that he has a home base and that when Andrew and I want to go there for the week while he's working, we can go there and have that flexibility to
Mhm.
go wherever we want. One of the reasons we needed to move here is because he wasn't earning enough for us to keep two households going. And I really would love to do that for the time being. So that's where I am. Again, it changes. That's where I am right now. And I feel fortunate like that. Hey, my why is to go buy another home. But it's the truth and it's where our family is right now. So that's me. What
Yeah.
about you guys?
Well, and you're saying that, I feel like I need to revisit my why. I mean, I have some things in mind, but I need to revisit and get some things written down. Um, Maybe create a vision board. Um, but there's still the issue of wanting my mom to move to Texas, but compared to where she lives now, she can't afford something comparable here because the cost of living is higher than where she lives. And there are just different things that she would be expected to have to pay for. Um, just living in Southeast Texas as compared to Northeast Oklahoma. Um, so there's that. Um, we got reminded yesterday that my husband really needs a new truck. Um, I would like to retire my husband because his job is really wearing on him, and I can see that. And he doesn't particularly like it, like you mentioned about your husband and enjoying his job and how much pleasure that brings you that he enjoys his job. Um, and that isn't something I'd really thought about concretely with Steve and how much he doesn't like his job. Um, I've always thought I want to not have to say the words, we can't afford to do that, whatever that is, you know, being able to travel, um, do something to the house that needs to be done, just whatever it is, just to have that freedom to not have finances hanging over our head, making us do things that make us unhappy.
Getting uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are some thoughts that I have, but I need to sit down and spend some time with that. Of course, I think next week's chapter in the book is about your why. So that will be timely.
Perfect.
That will be timely. So
Anybody else want to share?
Mine isn't out of that. Mine's out of the first chapter, but it's what if you dig deep and start to dream bigger so that your hunger propels you into action.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hunger is huge.
Love that.
And
hunger
getting
is
out of your
huge.
butt
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
realize that you can still be hungry. Stir up your hunger.
Yeah. I had already heard the concept of hunger and what Christy was talking about and how the hunger's not there when Rob's doing well. And I've experienced some of that as well. So, being too comfortable,
Mhm.
life being too comfortable. So,
And
I need to
hunger
find ways that
puts
it's
you,
not comfortable.
hunger, when you're not really hungry, there are many reasons you're not hungry, but when you have become malnourished, you don't know how to live anymore. You don't know how to dream. And life becomes a rut. And it's something
Mhm.
that you've really got to stir up again. You're not just automatically hungry. How many times do we eat and the food really doesn't taste good? It's because we kind of thought we felt pains in our hunger. Anyway, I think a lack of hunger really causes your body to really digress emotionally and mentally.
No,
Anyway,
no, it's very true.
Mhm.
Good points.
I've talked to y'all a few times about where I am at in life personally and just being a single mom. And I reached out to Christy a couple days ago. I'm lost on my days, so I apologize if I have the time frame incorrect. I think it might have been before, maybe last week or whatever. But anyway, I had memories pop up on my Facebook of the kids, of me taking the kids to Disney and on a Disney cruise with my ex-husband. And I started crying at that point because I just don't feel like I'll ever get that opportunity to take them to Disney, let alone on a vacation. Right now, all we're doing is traveling for sports, and it's great, and I'm glad we can do that, but it's also exhausting. And I want to be able to give them that opportunity to travel for fun too, and just for vacations and whatnot. And but it's just, you know, finances are tight, and I just need that extra wiggle room, if you will, and just so I'm not constantly stressed and worried. And I'm just feeling it today. So funny that it's this call, but
No, this is the safe space for it. So yeah.
For sure. So, just a little bit more from the introduction. Just some things that I underlined about that this book is going to teach how to do the necessary income producing activities better and more efficiently. I'm like, yes, I'm all about that. That it takes more than skills to advance in title and grow a large organization. It's like, okay. And I noticed she mentions repeatedly about a 6-figure monthly income. I hadn't picked up on that the last time I read the book, but she keeps mentioning, she mentions.
I didn't even catch that. I saw the 6 or 7 figure, but I assumed it was yearly, not monthly.
On page 11, I think was the first time she said monthly. She was mentioning 6 figures, 6 figures, 6 figures, but then on page 11, at the beginning of the second paragraph, is where she says, now with a 6-figure monthly income, we earn more than we could in medicine or corporate America. And so that idea of monthly, and it may have just been me after she did at least once say 6 figures monthly, at least one more time. But after she mentioned, every time she mentioned 6 figures after that, I heard monthly. 6 figures monthly, 6 figures monthly. It's like, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. And so much that could be done with that, you know, in terms of travel and retiring people from jobs and doing stuff to the house and helping family members and, you know, giving back to your community if that's what sets your heart on fire.
Well, it's like she says, I think it's towards the end of the introduction, but they now give more than they used to make a month. They now give them more than they used to make a month.
Right.
And the power in that is ginormous.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
I one time, it might have been when I did this, I don't know, but again, coaching people when I was doing it a lot, it would come up, well, God tells us to be meek. God says this. And I was like, first of all, go back to the Bible, because God uses the word abundance a lot. He wants us to have an abundant, joyful life. Your life is not that joyful if you were trying to figure out how to feed your kids. But the point of what I wanted to say is, I know, I feel that God believes like women can change the earth, the world, unlike men. Kind of similar to what I was reading in the book today, where I read that thing last night. The way women could change the world is unbelievable. But one of the only ways for us to do that is be truly successful. And God wants, there's enough rich people that aren't good in this world that God wants so badly to have wonderful, Christ-like rich people, because we can change the world.
Right.
I feel like it's biblical. You know,
It is. It's John 10:10. That's why he came, to give us life and give it more abundantly.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share that, like, never ever feel bad. And this is maybe for the people watching the recording, never ever feel bad for wanting to make a crap ton of money, because God wants really great people to have a crap ton of money, because we can change the world with it. Not so I can buy super yachts, but so that I can change the world. I believe.
Right.
That's a good way of thinking about it, because that is something I've struggled with, that it sounds self-serving to say,
or
That's what we've been taught, but that's not real.
it's not
And
biblical.
he does not separate what he says in the word and what we do in life. Those are all connected as far as he's concerned. There's no bridge between the two. That's how he intends us to live all the way across the board. And that's why he gives us good jobs and puts us in those positions.
Yeah, so we can make a difference.
Yeah.
Can
Okay.
I share one thing before we go to chapter 1?
Sure.
And it is prior to the introduction. At the very, very beginning, when she is doing her thank yous, I would love to make sure you guys maybe even write this down using yourself. But at the bottom, when she says her thank yous for me, thank you for not giving up on your lifelong dream of writing a book. And write whatever you want in that, like whatever your lifelong dream is, sub that in for writing a book. For having the balls to really put yourself out there in hopes that it helps some people. And for telling the negative voices in your head to shut the hell up. Yes, you ate an entire bag of popcorn last night and forgot to send the kids to school with their field trip forms this morning, but you wrote a freaking book. So yours isn't going to be writing a book, but writing as if you were now at whatever you want to be, whatever income you want to be at, writing a thank you letter to yourself and a shout out to yourself for doing it. Whatever that looks like to you. When I read that, I was like, yes. Like, as if it's already happened. That's part of visualization. As if it's already happened, write the thank you letter to yourself for what you have done and overcome. That's what I challenge you to do. And read that regularly. And your brain will figure out a way to make things true.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I wrote it down.
Okay. Sorry, I wanted to throw that in before we did deeper, because it's not often you see an author think themselves. And I thought it was awesome.
Right.
Well, and I usually skip the dedications and the acknowledgements. So thank you for pointing that out. Okay. So in chapter 1, she starts off by saying, a couple things. On the one hand, she says, all we have to do is talk to people, share our love of our products and our company. But then she kind of has to clarify. I don't want to say she does a reversal, but she has to clarify that, yeah, it's simple, but that doesn't mean it's easy. And that it is going to be hard work. And there are going to be times that you want to pull your hair out and all that stuff. But I think those are important things to think about up front, that all you have to do is talk to people and share your love of your products and the opportunity. But don't fall into thinking it's going to be easy. I have at least one person in the past who joined to be a business builder, and she thought just by posting a few times, people were going to jump on the bandwagon and it was all going to be great. And she gave up way too quickly. Twice.
Well, she says, I don't know. Oh, on page 18, where she says, let's get real. It's called network marketing, not netslacker marketing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That exactly. So, so initially she talks about 3 buckets that people will, go into, one of 3 buckets. The happy customers that become walking, talking billboards and refer business, people who join your team fit in the 2nd bucket. And the 3rd bucket is the connectors that also refer you business. And I kept thinking while I was reading this, there's a 4th bucket. There's a 4th bucket. And then I thought, but do you really want to bring that up? And what I came to is the 4th bucket is the bless and release bucket. those people who are never going to be interested in what you're doing, the people who MLM's a scam and they're predatory and their products are too expensive because they have to pay all those people in the network, and just all the negative Nellies belong in the bless and release bucket. So I feel better now. We have a fourth bucket for the bless and release people, or the people that you've tried talking to and you get it. You've been there. So you know what I'm talking about. And we don't need to dwell on that, but I just really needed to bring up the fourth bucket. The bless and
I
release
don't
bucket.
disagree with you. I agree with you.
So
Well, GDF says you cannot raise the dead.
yes, that's true. Well, and there are some people that are just, you're never going to be able to convince them, and your energy is better spent elsewhere. And sometimes, maybe, rarely, they might see you rising above their negativity and succeeding anyway, and it might just make them curious. So the fact that you've put them in the bless and release bucket doesn't mean they have to stay there. People can move from bucket to bucket.
Move. Absolutely.
But just don't spend your energy on those people. That was kind of what I wanted to get out of that. And any other thoughts on the 4 buckets?
I think you nailed it.
Go ahead. Oh, you think I nailed it? Thank you.
I think you did good. Uh-huh.
Hold on. I'm writing number 4, bless and release, in the margin, so that next time I read this, I'll remember, oh yeah, that's where the 4th bucket of people goes. Okay. So then she goes into the 4 reasons why people fail. And I was rereading this morning, and reason number 1 is that they're not coachable. And I thought to myself, well, I'm coachable. I'm definitely coachable. And then I said, are you really? And what I acknowledged to myself is, yes, I seek the coaching. I take the coaching to heart. I say I'm going to do the things. And then I let things get in the way of doing the things.
Well, I think what you're talking about is at the bottom of the first paragraph, and it says, if someone isn't seeing success, it's almost always because they're not following the system.
Mm-hmm.
Because being coachable doesn't mean you're willing to jump on the calls and get coached. You then have to take action.
That's my point exactly.
Yeah.
Is that I seek the coaching, but I don't always take the action that I'm coached into.
Yes.
Yes.
Angie, I had the same thought whenever I read that too. I was like, I'm coachable. I'm willing to hear feedback. I'm willing to hear what I need to do. But, one of my biggest hesitations is actually reaching out to people in Messenger. And so it's like, okay, if I'm being told to, like, that's the way to make this business run and I'm not doing it, then am I really coachable?
Right.
So you're not alone. I had that exact same thought when I read that. I was like, yes, I'm coachable. Check. I'm good to go. And it's like, but am I really?
Well,
right.
I think if you guys kind of think of it from a sports perspective, being coachable, a coach is actually coaching people on the field, on the court. And the player who's being coached is doing the drills, is taking action immediately after being coached, right? Like it's
yes.
And then they are in a game doing it, but they have practiced so much and they have done exactly what if a coach tells them, we're running hills today, or we're doing stairs today and we're running the stairs up and down the whole football stadium, the player who refuses to do that, even though they were coached to do it, guess what they're not going to do? Play in the game. And converting that to plexus, they're not going to walk the stage. They're not going to grow their income because they're being coached, but they're not willing to run the stairs.
Well, yeah. So no, I totally see being coachable as accepting the direction and taking the direction and doing the things. And that was kind of my revelation, is like Abby said, I thought, yeah, I'm coachable, check.
Yes.
But I haven't been. I haven't been. I haven't taken the actions, and I've made excuses. You know, I've allowed things to get in the way, and I've made excuses, and that's what needs to end. Is I need to take the coaching and run with it, to follow your sports metaphor. Take the coaching and run with it and do the things, do the lives, because that's the one I resist.
Yep.
And Genevieve, I think it's Genevieve who has said, and I've heard it from other sources as well, that the thing you're resisting doing is the thing that you most need to do. So I'm definitely guilty of that. And I definitely don't want to, in this book study, come across like I'm above anyone. I'm down here in the mix, and I'm making mistakes, and I'm learning just like everybody else. So I don't want to come across any differently, and I want to own my mistakes. So step one is admitting you have a problem.
It's a challenge. Don't call it a problem. A challenge is easier to deal with than a problem.
Well, I was, yes, you're absolutely right. I was alluding to 12-step programs, that in step one, it's admitting that whatever this thing is has become a problem for you, and that your life is unmanageable because of it.
And if we don't admit it, we're not going to be able to change it. Because
Right.
until you bring it out in the open, it ain't changing.
That's right. That's step two.
Okay.
So on page 16, in the little box, it says, make a commitment to be 100% coachable. Declare it right now. So I promise to be 100% coachable.
I promise to be 100% coachable.
All right.
Yes, absolutely. I promise to be 100% coachable.
Okay. Because actually that's the little get in action rectangle right there. So Abby, you with us? You're going to be 100% coachable?
I will be 100% coachable.
Okay. Of course, it only works if you meant it. So I probably
right.
shouldn't have put you on the spot like that, but we're good.
Now to
Okay.
speak it.
So on page 17, then she says, if you're not coachable, you won't talk to enough people. So, talking about the things where we're acknowledging that we haven't been coachable, reaching out to people in Messenger, going live. Those are forms of talking to people. So we're not reaching enough people because we're resisting doing the things that we need to do. So,
I like
moving.
the last sentence in that paragraph. When I say you
Mhm.
have to talk to people all the damn time, I am not kidding. It doesn't get any clearer than that.
Right.
No, that's pretty clear.
It's pretty stinking clear.
Yep. So, and in the last two paragraphs before she goes on to the next reason, she says the uncoachables, as we like to call them, also refuse to implement proven business building tools to help them expose their network to what they're offering, and move them through their funnel to a close. So if you're one of the uncoachables, again, please put this book down. It's not for you. It's like, well, I'm going to be coachable. I'm going to vow to be coachable because I want to continue with the book. I'm not going to put it down, but not just because I want to continue with the book, but because I want to be successful in my business. So I want to see what else she has to say that's going to contribute to the success. So reason number two, and I know I'm guilty of this, they don't treat this like a business. Okay. If you treat your business like a hobby, it will pay you like a hobby. But if you treat it like a real business, it can pay you like a business. So, and I know that to be true because of the testimonies that I've seen, the people I know personally who've been successful. So I've got to get
I think
focused.
there's a vision in there also that needs to change. What is our vision of a business? And Angie, your business has been in the classroom. My
Mhm.
business is in the medical field. I'm not sure what Abby does, but I know that Christy's business, a lot of it has been on the field because she works with athletes. I'm not going to say sometimes, I have not been able to change that vision of what does that business actually look like to me,
Okay.
because I've
Okay.
never been in a building. That I've always been either in the lab or in whatever medical field that involves that's a different vision for me. And I think vision for me, I need to physically see it differently, because
Okay.
I don't have a shingle, and I know they talk a lot about shingles in a lot of the places. So I have to get a vision of what that looks like to me. And it's different for everybody. We're not all in a building. We're all in a different
That's true.
room, but to me, I have not constructed the vision of what that business involves. I may be the only one, but I'm very visual, and I have to touch and do a lot of that stuff. So anyway, that's a has been a challenge for me, and I may be the only one, and that's okay if I'm the only one. I'm here to fix
I
it.
don't think you're the only one. But I think first and foremost, pardon me, treating it like a business is going to involve showing up consistently. Because when you had a J.O.B, a traditional job, you had to show up consistently in order to get paid.
Right.
And you had to show up because, or if you didn't show up, one, you didn't get paid, but two, you got in trouble with the boss.
Or you didn't get to come back.
Or you didn't get to come back. Okay. So part of it is you've got to shift the thinking. And I don't mean I mean someone who wants to work a business like this has to shift their thinking to I'm the boss. I don't want to let myself down.
Right. You can speak to me. It's okay. It is
Well,
okay.
but I wanted to be broader than that. And again, I don't want to come across like
That's
somebody
okay.
who has all the answers, because I surely don't.
No, but that is
Okay.
an answer. And I thank you.
Well,
So
it's part of an answer.
I'm thinking of something as y'all were talking about this, and I'm not like, forgive me, I'm not trying to think about things or listen to answer, but like this just hit me as we're having this
Hmm?
conversation. And Gina, to answer your question, I am a project manager, but I have changed over the last 4 years because first I was a stay-at-home mom for the last 10 years, and then I was an executive assistant for 2 years, and now I'm a project manager. And I actually had this conversation with someone in my work world today is it's really frustrating because my success depends on other people doing their job. And I just had the revelation as I'm listening to y'all is that my success, like I'm frustrated with this particular, I love my job. I actually really do like it. Um, but there are things that are out of my hands and out of my control. I can't just go and do the work myself because it's someone else's job and I just have to keep up with it and make sure that they're doing what they have to do. But with Plexus, my success actually is built on what I do. So I'm kind of doing a double-edged, not hypocrisy, I guess, if you will. Like I'm frustrated in my day-to-day job because I can't control what other people are doing, but yet my success depends on it. But here in Plexus, my success does depend on what I do, and I'm still not doing it.
And if you don't mind, Abby, I would love to add to that. Your upline success depends on you doing what you said you were going to do. And so,
Well, and that
like
too is
me
like
having, like
I'm still in a
stepping,
weird place with that
Just reverse
because
it.
my direct upline has taken a back seat. And so
correct.
I've been reaching out to Christy, who is not my direct line. You're my sister in a sense. And so then I have guilt because, and I get it. And I know you're great, Christy. But also, like, if someone is going to be successful upon me, like, I should be reaching out to them, but I don't have that close knit with my few, and I'm trying to build that. And they have when I reached out to them this weekend, they were great. But it's just trying to start to formulate those relationships as well, so that I can be successful.
Yeah, and don't ever feel bad to come to me, because I love doing it, and I'm always happy to do it for anybody and help anybody. I think all of you guys know that. So don't ever feel bad about that. But, you know, speaking on just to the point of, you did that very wonderful message and reached out to me and to your upline. And I think you have to just kind of, I now have 3 people above me that are absolutely not working the business at all. And so that's not even in my wheelhouse. Like, I don't even, what I do benefits the people that actually are engaged in doing it. Also the check collectors, but whatever, that used to weigh me down, and it doesn't anymore, because it is my business. Like you said, Abby, going to work and doing what you promised yourself to do is on you. But I, you know, when you message, and you messaged me in the, you know, the upline that is working, and saying, hey, I'm ready to dig in. Just so you guys know, when you guys say that, we also set our goals based on, because when you have a much bigger team, we create our goals based on what you guys say you're going to do that month. And when you don't do it, it affects us. And some people care and some people don't care. But like, when I reach out to the people on my team and, hey, what are you working towards this month? And somebody says, hey, I'm going to add 3, I'm going to add 3, I'm going to add 3. Then when I set my team goal, it includes that. And I depend on those people to do what they say they're going to do. And when they don't, it's like, I'm not the boss of them. I can't be upset, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? So I would love for you guys also to realize you are a big piece in the cog of everything that we do as a team. And you're not clocking in, and we can't hold you to the fire as your upline, but we really do depend on you. And that will make sense to you when you have a much bigger team. And
I hadn't thought about it that way.
and our income depends on, mine doesn't depend on what any of the 3 of you guys are doing, but I have a team, and my income truly depends on them showing up. And when they don't, it hugely affects my family. And so if you guys can own your role in your upline's family, show up. Like Angie, if you didn't show up over and over, and multiple teachers didn't show up, your principal would be in deep crap, and you would never do that to them. Does that make sense? I don't know. I just don't know, because you don't have
makes
huge
sense.
teams.
But here's my challenge with that.
Yeah.
What if I understand the responsibility, and I understand that we're all accountable, and when we put our name and say we're going to do it, I want to be somebody that they're thankful I'm on their team. Okay, we do the work. We do what, you know, I'm going by this little thing, and we do all that. And then when it gets down to the nitty gritty, we cannot make the other people do. We cannot make the other people join. We cannot make people purchase. My issue has been, it still is, and it's probably the one that grates on me more than anything. When I do what I'm supposed to do and it seems unproductive, that just really really bothers me. And when it gets to, how do you make somebody on the other end do what we would like for them to do so we can look like we're showing up and we want to show up? That's a huge issue with me. That is, I'm wanting a guarantee, and there
Okay.
is no guarantee.
There is no guarantee. And here is what I can tell you 100%. When you show up and you are taking action, we know as leaders that you can't control who joins you. We can't. But we know, we see when you're showing up. We see when you're making the posts. We see that you are trying. You know how we know? Because you're reaching out to us or you're sharing things. Like Angie reached out the other day and she goes, I really want to do it, but really I want to put this off. And I literally was like, do this now, report back, do this now. So I am not holding her to like, hey, if you didn't add 3 people, that tells me you didn't work. No, I knew she went to work because she reached out and asked for help. And we as leaders know the more you're reaching out, that's because you're digging in. And it's not about the outcome, it's about the output. Because eventually the people will join. And something I did, and I'm certain probably nobody has watched it yet, but I did a little recap of the team call. And I actually, but for the people that weren't on there, because it was not recorded like Shay thought it was. So I did a quick recap. But what I said at the end of that, I mean, and what I said is, hey, we will match your energy. And if you are showing up to team calls, and if you are adding people to messenger events, and you are showing up to book club, and then you reach out and you want one-on-one help, you will have it. But if you can't do the bare minimum of showing up to a team, of doing the things we are putting the work into for you, and this is not to you three, because you're on here, but for the people who want all kinds of help, but won't take the time to show up for a team call, a book study, or put people in messenger events, I don't have time to help you. You are not even doing the bare minimum, because it takes effort to put on a team event, a messenger event, a team call, a book study. People are putting effort into that. And for the people that will show up to that, what we as your diamond upline and I have committed to is to help those people. You people who are showing up, we know you're in it because you are messaging us. Do you know who's not in it? The people who don't send us any messages, ask any questions, ask for help. Those people, they're not watching the recordings. They're not showing up. And those people will not be the people who get our intentional help. Angie shows up to everything. So when Angie messaged me and says, I'm frozen right now, I 100% am going to go, let's do this. Let's get unfrozen.
And thank you for that.
That is what we are committed to as a leadership. We have talked about it. Who are we going to commit our time to? The people who show up to what we are providing right now. And as more people join based on what we're doing, we will be able to offer more, because you know what? I will not have to be the one running the show for everything. We will be able to delegate and say, hey, you run the team call this week. Hey, you do this messenger event this week. But first we have to get it going. So
Rolling. Yeah.
And we know it is not about us being grateful for the people who add every month. It's us being grateful for the people that show up. And we see you taking action. We're not idiots. We know who's taking action and who's not. And it's not just about who adds the most people at the end of the month. I promise you. You got to just trust that we see you, and you will be rewarded for that. Is that helpful at all, or no?
It is.
Okay. I went on a tangent. Angie, we got
That's
9 minutes.
Okay.
And just
let's
put
go to
guilt
reason
aside and just ask for help. Be humble enough to ask for help.
I do want to say on number 2, where it says they don't treat this like a business, I did the math, not that you're not all capable of doing the math, But the 80-10-10 rule
Maybe not.
that she talks about, where 80% of your business, of your time should be on your personal business, talking to people, finding those who want to be your customers, giving customer service, all of that, is 80% of your business. That is 48 minutes of the hour. So if you're only working 1 hour a day, 48 minutes of your day should be on your personal business. 6 minutes of your 1 hour. So if you're working 3 hours one day, times it by 3. But if you're only working 1 hour a day, 48, which I feel like is the minimum to grow, 48 minutes on your personal business, 6 minutes on 3-way calls or 3-way chats, 6 minutes on personal development. So I love personal development. I love learning. Where will I get extra time to do that? In my opinion, it is having my ear pods in, listening to something while I'm folding laundry, while I am exercising. That's where I can add in extra personal development. But for the most part, if you break down 1 hour of work, 48 minutes, we are all guilty. Those of us showing up here love personal development. We are guilty of spending 48 minutes on personal development and 6 minutes on our personal business. Are we not? We're doing it backwards. Okay.
Yeah.
So add in the extra personal development time when it's you're like, you can multitask. You can fold laundry and listen to a podcast. You can go for a walk and listen to an audible. But you need to sit down and work your business at least 48 minutes a day, your personal business. Based on this.
Makes sense.
I would not
Yeah.
have been able to break that down. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I was thinking about it earlier in the reverse of, okay, so for every hour spent on personal development within a week, say every hour spent on personal development, I need to put 8 hours into working my personal business and an hour into training and
Others. Mhm.
yeah, training others and whatever that other piece was.
That is a perfect way to look at it also.
So, all right. So we got it from 2 directions.
Yep.
So reason number 3 that people fail at this business is that they're not willing to get uncomfortable. I'm definitely guilty of that. I'm definitely guilty of what she describes as getting ready to get ready. It's like, okay, I'm going to work my business. Let me make a schedule for the week. And I don't like the hand-drawn schedule, so I'm going to make it on the computer. And I'm going to make it perfect.
And I'm going to clean my
gonna-
desk.
And I'm going to plug all the little things into the time slots. And look at me working. Look at
It's
me
called
working.
avoidance.
Yes.
It's
Yes,
funny that
it
you
is.
just said that because I've made a note for myself, like literally right before you made that comment that says, find the IPA for Plexus. But of
What was
course, I'm going to go down a spiral, and I'm going to have to look at multiple different IPAs before I settle on one. Because
Well,
I got to get ready to get ready.
I have many of them, so I can send them to you. But the ideal one is the winning day that Genevieve shares.
Gotcha. Winning day. Okay.
I'll send it to you, Abby.
Okay.
And what Genevieve says, because I think is a 2-hour workday. And if you don't have 2 hours, then divide everything by half in the amount of minutes you spend on each thing.
Okay.
Would you send that to me too, please?
Yeah.
I have it.
Yep.
I have it. So not that I'm not asking for it, because I have it. All right. So not willing to get uncomfortable, and like you said, Gina, it's the avoidance, the getting ready to get ready, the doing all the busy work, but the busy work is not income producing. To go all the way back to what she said in the beginning, all we have to do is talk to people and share our love of products, or of our products and our company. That's what we have to do. All of the rest of it is icing on the cake.
She says they keep practicing talking to people instead of actually talking to people. Just freaking talk to people. You will become an expert by talking to people.
Mhm.
That's true.
Well, and so then the flip side of that is occasionally when I am talking to someone, I hear things coming out of my mouth that make me sit back and think, whoa, listen to me, sounding like I know what I'm talking about.
Because you do.
Because maybe I do.
Because you do.
And I forget that.
Just
And
do it.
that lack of confidence gets in the way. And it's like, but I do know a little bit about a little bit.
I think
But you
know
know
a
enough
little
to get you
about
where
a
you
lot.
are.
You know a little bit about a lot.
Yeah.
That would be more accurate.
Yeah. So, and then the reason number 4 that people fail at this business is that they're not hungry enough. And we touched on that a little bit already, but it's so true. You know, you have to be hungry enough to be willing to do whatever it takes. Like I highlighted the part where she said I could taste the amazing freedom my husband would experience when he could walk away from his job and, be able to take on something he wanted to do instead of the thing that he had to do. But she does also temper it at the end, saying, I'm not suggesting that you can't be successful in this business unless you're at your wit's end with your life or unable to feed your family. But you've got to figure out what it is that you really want that you don't already have.
Right. Right.
So, and that's the thing that makes us willing to get uncomfortable, is the thing that we want that we don't already have. Like, I don't know, as an extreme example, everything's fine and you're coasting along and you're making ends meet, but maybe there's no wiggle room, no extra. And then somebody rams into your car and it's totaled. And now you have to buy a new car. I see that as the thing that you don't already have. And that's the type of thing that'll make people dig in.
Mhm.
So we have to find what's the thing that we don't already have. And, God forbid it's a totaled car, but
Without
I don't know,
drastic
is
measures.
that making any sense?
It does
I'm-
make sense. And what is the way of us really realizing what it is we really want? Is there a blockage that keeps you from doing what you know you need to do to bring your husband home? I have blocks myself, but I think there's so many things in the way of what we really need to see.
Mhm.
And we don't want drastic measures
It's
like a messed
right,
up car
right.
to do
It's
something.
settling,
Right.
thinking,
Right.
yeah, we're okay. We're doing all right.
Right.
But are we happy?
Right. Settling is a good
Are
word.
we living an abundant life?
Are you able to give and serve? Because if you're only making enough money to get by, you're not making enough to truly serve others.
Right. Not even your family. And that's,
Mhm.
there's always a need there.
Yeah. So, because the last sentence of that section on page 23, she says, because if we want something bad enough in this life, we make it happen.
Mhm.
It's just that simple.
Can I give you an example?
Yes, please.
Sure.
So on the last day of the month, June 30th, well, June 29th, June 28th, when all subscriptions had run, my points were down 200 points from the prior month and lower than they had been in forever. And a lot of people's were. Like Shay actually thought maybe subscriptions didn't run one day. Like she went to corporate and was like, pull every report, what's going on. And we discovered that Nothing was going on. Everything that ran was run, right? And I then created a plan on the 29th, and on the 30th, I sat in this chair for probably 10 hours, which I had not done on the end of the month in forever. And by the end of the day, I had added 90 points to my team and added 10 people between me and Deanna and one other person, 10 new customers, all on the last day of the month. Because when I looked at my points, I was like, my husband is going to flip. Like, being down 200 points is a lot of money. So I just was like, I literally went to work as if my life depended on it, and messaged.
And what did that work look like? Message people?
Yes, all day long. I sent over 1,600 project broadcast messages. And I worked all day long. And I messaged people that I haven't messaged in a year, 6 months, 2 years. And I was just like, I'm not ending. If I end this low in points, it's going to be because I pulled out every single stop. And I did. And so I didn't, fill the 200 point gap, but 90 points in a day, that's almost 3 ranks. And that was not because my car was wrecked. That was because my pride in myself and my business was not having it. I was like, this is not okay. This isn't acceptable. And if it is what it is, it's going to be because every human that I could talk to in 10 hours, I spoke to. And you got to be willing to do that. Not every day. I am not going to work like that every day. I promise. But you got to have days where you're like, I'm all in. And what I would say with the promotion this month of the Ninja Creamy, which I've wanted forever, I would say you need to try to add your 4 people in this first week so that then you have 3 weeks to help one of them go silver. Like, make it a solid effort to at least earn the prizes, because if you're doing that, Leaders Retreat will come. Your team will grow. People will see you earning prizes and they will want to earn the prizes. But if you're waiting till I couldn't have gotten somebody silver on the last day of the month that joined that day. I mean, maybe I could, but do you know what I'm saying? But if
that's a stretch,
it's July 3rd. If you spend the next 4 days messaging enough people to try to get 4 customers, and then you spend the next 3 weeks trying to get one of them to go silver, worst case, multiple people add 1 person, guess what's going to happen to your team this month?
It's going to grow.
Probably going to grow more than it ever has. And because anybody new that joins you this month gets double building business bonuses from 1, not just like yours don't start until 3. Like, if you add 3 people, now you're going to get double business building bonuses on all 3. Anybody you add this month gets double business building bonuses from their first person. That means you can add just 1 person this month, a new person can, and get $56 from that 1 person. They have almost paid for their welcome pack by adding 1 friend. If you add 4 and they each add 1, your team just grew by 8 people. When's the last time your team grew by 8 people in 1 month? Commit to helping. If each of your people add 2 people, they've probably now paid for their first order. Commit to adding 4 people this week and helping each of them get their products paid for in the first month. Now you've grown by 12 people. 12? 16? 16 people. What if you guys all added 16 people to your team this month? Would you be gold?
Mhm.
Does that feel unachievable? Only until people start doing it.
Right. So you said add 2, get them each to add 2?
Get them each to add 2 people, and that will pay for their products. It might not cover, I mean, almost. It depends on what they order, right? Actually, I can spend some time today saying, hey, if you order I'm writing this down so that you can create a message, the trim and triplex, because the PV on that is great. So your double business building bonuses would be great on that. Trim and triplex order, and then you help 3 friends. I'll do the math exactly, but if they have 3 friends that they grab to do it with them, their order will be paid for, plus they'll have a little extra. I'll do the exact math so that you could, if that's helpful to you, so that that's
Yes.
a message that you're sending out. You're going to be in our 30-day detox group, grab 3 of your friends to do it with you. You're going to have this much extra money and $10 off your order next month. You're almost good to order next month. Let me craft a message for that.
Okay, sounds good.
Because if you make that your goal and you're just sharing with people right off the bat about the great products and how for them to get it free, now guess what you're also talking to them about? The business without asking
Yes.
them to build the business.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
I gotta teach Andrew math first, but then I will come back and create that
Okay.
message.
You can put that in our book talk chat, book
I
study
will
chat.
put it on the page. I'll
Okay.
put it in our team page because
Okay.
I feel like
Other
that's
people need to see it too. Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
put it in
Sounds
all.
good.
Right now I have permission to post in everybody's page because y'all know Christy I'm a lot.
That's what I was about to say. Christy's a lot.
Christy's a lot. Christy is not ashamed. And I
But
want
we love
everybody
that
to
about
grow.
Christy.
I want everybody to grow. And I feel like that is a great way to grow.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So-
I'm sorry. I squirreled again.
No, nope, you were fine.
That's not a
That's
squirrel. That's not a squirrel.
Hopefully
Yeah.
that's tactical and we'll make it tactical on the team pages. Angie, close us out.
but that's just kind of, we've kind of gotten to the end of the chapter, you know, in the paragraphs on the last page, she says, I can't make you coachable and I can't motivate you. That has to come from you. So that's kind of where we're at right now, is we've got to find it within ourselves, what we're going to change, become coachable, do the things that we're coached to do. Hold on, I've lost my train of thought. We're going to treat it like a business, get uncomfortable, and do the dang thing. So that's,
Yeah, that line right there, that I can't make you coachable and I can't motivate you, that has to come from you. To me equals I will match your energy.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? I can't
Mhm.
make you do any of those things, but if you do, I will match your energy.
Sounds like a plan. So,
I want you all to go gold this month. I want all of you to
yes,
go gold this month.
please.
Okay.
Yes, please. I need to get in on those rank rewards moving
Yes.
forward. I know I wouldn't get one for this month, but I could going forward after that. So next week, I think we're just going to commit to chapter 2. I have not made an outline yet to make this book fit into the 12-week time span that we have. But for right now, let's just commit to chapter 2 because it's close to 20 pages.
Okay.
Ooh. This book has lots of meat in it.
It does. Well, and it gives lots of action steps. And I like that.
Right.
So,
Yes,
like,
because our next book, I've already ordered it. Let's do 10 times is easier than 2
after
times
this book,
for the next
okay.
one. And we're going to amplify
and we'll
everything we've
10x.
learned.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I like that.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, chapter 2 has a list of action steps at the end, so I think we'll have a good chunk of stuff to talk about next week with just chapter 2. Okay?
Thank you. Let me,
Heck, I want to do them besides talk about them.
Right. We will